This is Drew Case.
This is amazing.
And this is Enemies on Paper.
All right, Drew. How you been doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. Worn the fuck out.
I know, right? Well, considering like the last few hot takes, and damn, you just fucking out of here. Okay, considering the last few takes we had, we're gonna talk about struggle with depression. I spoke about it on this podcast, and by the time you hear this, I'll be already dropped it, so tune into that. But I talked about it in this last week podcast. But I want you to talk a little more about the depression and how depression affects people differently.
Well, honestly, like, I feel really limited. Like, I used to have dreams, like, goals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and now I just can't wait to go home and go to bed. I might like set up projects to do or chores to do, just run errands and stuff, and it's just such a chore to get out of bed.
How long have you struggled with it?
Well, that's a difficult question because I'm a former drug addict, or recovering drug addict, I should say. And I really feel like that zapped a lot of my energy because I associated completing a lot of these goals with the drug.
Yeah,
so that really, being sober and doing it wasn't an option for me at that time. Yeah. And I was on it for a good 5-6 years.
So what introduced you to, like, for one, what was your drug of choice, and then why did you select that drug over this drug?
Right. Well, honestly, it was I was told to take this drug by a doctor. I was diagnosed ADD.
Plot twist.
Not really. Put the ADD in Adderall.
But that's supposed to help you. Those doctors know that.
Well, and honestly, at first it did. Like, I remember being up in college, and I went from a C student to like a straight A student. Like, I mean, my mind was clear, everything was working great. But of course, I went down the road, well, if 1 can do this, what can 2 do? What can 3 do? What can 4 do? And obviously, that's not how it works. But anyway, to kind of speed this story up, I got onto harder stuff because of it. Yeah. Like uppers and stuff. And
so how did that help with the depression? Did it kind of coat it, or did it go away?
Honestly, I don't even know if I was depressed before I did it. Mm-hmm. I just think it really contributed to, it was, for school, it was, I can't do my schoolwork, my homework, or study without it. So when I ran out of it, it was, well, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I made up that excuse that I couldn't do it if I didn't have it. So, I would just, sleep in, skip class, Did
you have anybody, did you have like a role model, someone around you pushing you to those, or were you more after?
No. I mean, because honestly, I don't think I could have had one. Because my role model was my drug.
Damn, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's true. There was nothing more important to me than that.
I'm talking prior to your drug use. Like, there was nothing.
I mean, my best, like, honestly, like, I lost so many good friends because of it, because all my friends were in a pill bottle. They became the most important thing to me because I didn't want anyone else. I became so secluded because I wanted to accomplish all these projects that I had in mind while I was on it, and it's really hard to explain because my best friend, like, I knew how bad I was hurting these guys.
So
it didn't matter.
Didn't matter
because I was a completely different person on it.
So when did you know that you were struggling with it? When did you know you were, like, are you clinically
depressed?
Yeah.
Going back to that's what I say. It's a really long story. I don't know if I would call myself clinical, actually. Now that I think about it, because I would consider that more situational, because when I didn't have it, I was just like, oh shit, life's fucking pointless now. I can't accomplish my goals without it, so I'm just gonna fucking sleep until my second script, or
That's what I'm saying. Like, prior to that, were you accomplishing goals before the drugs?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, my grades weren't great, but you know, like I said, I was a straight C student, but I was a C student.
But okay, so my question is, okay, if you were accomplishing goals before the drug, like how, like what was motivating you before the drug?
Because I didn't know the drugs existed. I mean, like for example, like you know, once you find out something is there, it kind of creates a block in your mind, in the sense that, well, I noticed that you can't go back to the state of before doing drugs after you do drugs.
It's true. It's true.
And honestly, I feel like it really zapped. I mean, it's ironic because it gave me so much motivation while I was on it, but it also took away so much motivation when I was off of it. So it feels like I lost a piece of myself. So, you know, now that I think about it, I really think it was situational because, like, I was obviously down in the dumps. Like, it was, you know, just as much physical as it was mental at that point. And, you know, that led to harder things, which led to a rougher life, which led to lying, deceit, not only with my friends, but, you know, my girlfriend at the time.
We're talking a real long time. You're talking a real long time.
It's a long story.
Hey, but you're not really engaging me into the conversation. You're talking.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm trying to get there. Like, okay, the situational depression.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and gloss over that.
No. You were doing a good job. You're a good job. I was like, Dad, this is really long. Like, I need you to engage because what happened is it's like story time. And I was like, I
don't know any other way to kind of really
what I want
go down.
The thing I want from you is, what if someone else is like, what? I mean, I know you're struggling with it. You can't even figure out how to slow. What is your advice for someone who is dealing with it?
Okay, well, I'll make the second part quicker. You know, as most of you know, I lost.
They don't know. So you have to.
You're right. I lost my girlfriend about 6 months ago, and I really found my ground again, it felt like, after drugs. So it seemed like I was really finding myself again. I was finding the motivation to do music, to work on projects, but where I found the codependency with the drugs, I feel like I found in her.
Yeah. So you pretty much traded one drug for another one.
Yeah, you know, obviously one's better, but at the same time, codependency is a bitch. So, you know, like, if I'm by myself, if I don't have someone pushing me, like she pushed me, you know, I didn't really want to fuck with shit. But around her too, I also had that motivation, like, you know, she didn't have to tell me what to do necessarily.